I should probably pull up their deck lists. You know
Yeah.
what they're playing? I'm assuming
Yes.
Piku's on
Pico
Twiddle
is on
Storm.
Mono Blue Twiddle Storm with, well, you are, and Joe is playing Mardu Death Shadow.
Ooh, Mardu Death Shadow. That's one
Yes.
we haven't seen in a while. Originally popping up to deal with Hogak, because it was one of the few decks that could compete, surprisingly. It's
Yeah.
seen a lot less play since then, but it's an interesting meta call. Ranger Captain is always a fun card to combine with Death Shadow.
Yeah, and also it's, I think, one of the fastest types of Shadow list, if I'm not
I think
mistaken.
it really depends on your build. The
Also,
fastest ones have typically been the Suicide Zoo variants, where you play like Wild Nacatls, and there's a lot of small variations, but like Wild Nacatl, Burning Tree Emissary, and what is it, Bushwhackers, and then
true.
you just like fetch shock a bunch
So, why would you
balls to the
choose?
wall, go crazy one.
Okay, so we have seen first out of 8 main board discard spells out of Joe that I think
Yeah.
will be a big part of the of his
Hmm.
interaction. I also think that
Yeah.
Mardu the Shadow has access to the best protection and removal, which might not be relevant in this matchup, since he can
Yeah.
run Path to Exiles and Fatal Pushes and has access to Giver of Runes.
Hmm.
So,
The key point of interaction here is all going to be about discard. That's
yeah,
that and counter spells, which the Mardu deck doesn't have access to. So it's really just all going to be discard from Joey's end. That plus the fast clock, I would lean towards Joey being favored here.
yeah, especially post board where he can play just straight up 12 discard spells and and tight hollow schoolers, so it's like 12 main board and 4 in sideboard additional, so he
Hmm.
can really go into the hand destruction if he wants to take that route, and I think that's the best he can do because I see no reason to keep cards like Giver of Runes or Path to Exile
Hmm.
post board, as
Yeah, you just board out all your removal.
yes, as we know what are the lists. We know that Picu runs literally 0 creatures in
Hmm.
main board and sideboard, so these cards are.
Cognify is kind of a creature.
If you no, it's not even like I wanted to say like yes, if you play a
If you do it
creature
on your own
first,
creature.
but you don't have creatures in the first place, so um, yeah,
I
Pico.
stand by my statement. But yeah, the removal is not going to be super impactful, despite the 3 Pognifies in the board. Joey's removal is not going to do a whole lot.
Yes, and I think
You see the shadow come down.
yeah,
Currently at
it's
3/3.
currently 3/3, but next turn it can be a 6/6, and if he has Temur Battle Rage, okay, these are 2 Death Shadows, so if he
Yeah.
has a Timur Battle Rage in his hand, then that's just lethal with a fetch land.
And he does have 2 TBRs in the deck.
Yes. Does he have any in sideboard to make the deck faster? No. But yeah, I think that,
Oh, and it looks like we're going from Piku's end.
yeah, he
Played the
needs,
Lotus Field.
and now he untaps with Ideas Unbound, splicing
Hmm.
onto Ideas Unbound, and I think he must try and win this turn because,
Yeah.
well, and that's a great start if he wants to win this turn. 2 Ideas Unbound with untap, it's free draw, free better ancestral, and
Yeah.
if there was a way for him to win, it starts with this, especially with Pure Depths
Mhm.
now. He starts to generate mana. If he
Yeah, so
will,
in case it's unclear for the stream what's going on, Psychic Puppetry, he's just splicing it onto all of these arcane spells and using it to untap the Lotus Field to get them effectively for free.
or even generating mana.
Yeah,
Splice is for
in the
1
case of some of
blue,
the cheaper ones.
and
Hmm?
there is 1 blue arcane spell that draws you a card. It's called
Yeah.
Reach
Played
through
it
mists.
earlier.
He played it
Yeah,
earlier,
reach
Reach
through
through
mists.
mists, so he can generate mana with this one. And
And then of course Twiddle and every other Twiddle effect.
generates
Oh,
mana. And
and
Joey
that's the game.
just. Oh, I assume he told him he has a grape shot in hand, and he got himself to 10, and Picu had
Yeah.
already Storm 8, I believe, so. Yeah, so Joey was just dead.
Yeah.
I guess that's an interesting thing about this matchup, that if Death Shadow goes to like 6 life, you can just manually storm and kill them by accident. Also,
Yeah, that's actually very true.
there is an interesting tech against against Death Shadow in the sideboard of Picu. He has
Hmm.
3 areas of flame. So if you try to resolve a Death Shadow and then gain 10 life of your opponent playing area of flame, you can just end up with a dead Death Shadow due to
Yeah.
your opponent gaining you 10 life.
That card is surprisingly incredible in this matchup. And it's also just what you would want to bring in against a bunch of disruption, against a bunch of hand disruption, because you don't need to storm off all at once. You can do it slowly over a few turns. So
Yeah,
that card is, if it doesn't get hit with a Thoughtseize or an Inquisition or something like that, it's probably just gonna beat just beat the Mardu Death Shadow deck on its
by
own.
itself. I think also about sideboards, I think also precognition fields are coming out of Picu's sideboard,
Yeah.
and that's probably all. I wouldn't say that echoing truth is important enough.
Yeah. He also has the Pognify, but I feel like that's more for
Hate
humans where they
PCs.
have specifically disruptive creatures.
Yeah,
Um,
he could bring it for Tide Hollow Schoolers, but I don't think it's worth the slot, especially if he tries to be fast with his wins. Um, I think Joey Brang probably Collective Brutalities, maybe Collegan's Commands, and I wouldn't be surprised if he brought Nihil Spellbomb and Ashiok Dream Render as Graveyard Hate, as Piku uses
Also,
his Graveyard
Kaya's Guile,
extensively.
just because it's a graveyard hate spell.
Yeah, I guess
Um,
he has a lot of things to replace.
that's
Uh,
yeah. It's not the it's Kaya's Guile is not at its best in this matchup, but it is just 3 mana exile the graveyard, which in response to a Pass in Flames is pretty strong.
yeah, and also
Um,
it's slightly like it's obviously better than Path to Exile in this matchup. So you're
mhm.
just bringing slightly less dead card over a card that's
Yeah.
literally
I could
nothing in a
also
matchup.
see bringing in either Celestial Purge or Wear Tear to deal with the Aria of Flames that Piku is just definitely bringing in. But whether that's worth it for the 3 of Arias is up to Joey. Cannot say.
It's let's say he brings Collective Brutality for sure. That's to Kaya's Gil, Nihil Spellbomb, and Colligan's Command. That's 6. And now does he have more cards to replace? Is a question. Maybe Cling to Dusts. Oh, he has a
Hmm.
Dismember. He would probably want to take out of his deck
Yeah.
as well. So maybe he brings one. Enchantment
Notably
Removal
left in
Spell.
at least one Giver of Runes.
Yes, I don't understand why he attacked with Giver last turn and decided to not attack this turn. He
Yeah, I
knows
think
that.
you should do one or the other.
Yeah, it's like you probably know that your opponent, yeah, Captain Avias is really strong in this matchup.
Oh, yeah, because it just effectively fogs for a turn.
Yeah, it's even worse. It's like a
Or not
silence,
fog, but silence,
because it's
yeah.
like you cannot go off if he has it on
Hmm.
the table, because once you get to the storm high enough to kill your opponent, you just get the sacrifice in like at storm 7, and
Yeah.
your entire turn is destroyed until your opponent can go off on instant speed. But we know Piku cannot, as he has Grape Shot as his main spell wincon. So it's either Area of Flame or it's or Captain of Eos is just stone cold, unlosable card for Joy right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
I wonder if Pico will try to do something here. He can go for 2 blue, untap his
casting a
field.
puppetry.
Yeah,
That's
and he will
interesting.
probably play Area of Flame as
Mhm.
and yes, the ranger captain is sacrificed in response, so he cannot use the mana that he created,
Yeah.
which
Smart move
is
by Joey.
yes, but he also slowed down his clock by a
Yeah,
lot.
but you can't really let an Aria resolve.
True,
Those
especially,
you don't typically win those games.
but he has a Death Shadow, and I don't think he plays it right now. So he really slowed down his clock by a lot, and I think that Picu might have something else to do with his mana. And now the Title
Yeah.
Schooler comes down, so it will
And
probably
it gets to take that Aria of Flame.
yeah. Well, let's see if he
And,
had it. Yeah, there was
yep.
one.
And the
Oh,
precognition field. This is something I've only seen from Piku, and I honestly love it. It's one of my favorite commander cards, letting you cast spells from the top of your deck.
yeah, it's great in this deck. Like he plays around 17 lands, I believe, or something really small, and 4, 4, 4, 8. That's 20. Yeah, I think exactly 20 lands. So he's not going to be stopped by precognition field. His precognition field is literally going to break.
Yeah.
Um, I wonder why he brought spell pierces. I
Yeah,
think
that's interesting.
I would understand bringing them on a play if you want to stop turn one hand attack spells as a tech,
Hmm.
but
Yeah, but that seems like kind of narrow.
yeah,
There
but
are definitely a lot, though. He plays 4 Inquisition, 4 Thoughtseize, 2 Collective Brutality, or Joey plays. So
yeah,
there's a lot of hits for it, certainly.
that's why I would want to play to get them
Hmm.
on a play where you can play them island turn one and respond to turn one Totsis with spell pierce, but now he is just forcing Joy to tap out.
Yeah, this is interesting. I would have liked to see because he had another psychic puppetry in hand, so he could have used the psychic puppetry as just a desperate ritual with the Lotus Field to play out the
Field.
precognition field. And untapping with precognition field also seems like a really good place to be.
Yeah, and I wonder what he drawn that made him
Hmm.
choose to not play that. I would
Yeah.
assume second spell pierce, and this is the only way I see why he would play the spell pierce now. Because yeah, Joey will tap out, and yeah, he will just surrender.
Yeah,
And
and he just conceded.
yeah,
While he wasn't dead there, he wasn't in good shape.
true.
Yeah. Um, so
Well,
that's typically going to be the Mardu deck's game plan. Just hand disrupt you until you're dead. um,
yeah, and I think the counterplay from Pico will be trying to go as fast as possible or resolving a spell that gives him inevitability, like inevitability, like Area of Flame
yeah.
or Precognition Field.
Both of those seem just really, really good if they hit. Because if they resolve, because I believe Joey's only way to answer it is Wear Tear, which is probably coming in, seeing that Aria of Flame and Precognition Field are both in.
Yeah, and now let's see if he left Spell Pierces on a play in his deck, because I don't believe Joey would keep a hand without turn one hand disruption. So yeah, there is a
Mm-hmm.
shock into IOK.
Inquisition. And are we
Uh,
seeing the Spell Pierce? Oh, just
no,
an
no
opt.
opt. That's an interesting
Opt in
choice.
response to Inquisition makes me think he doesn't have another land.
Yeah, that's the only reason I would see playing opt before IOK
Mm-hmm.
resolves. Otherwise, I would let the opponent choose an opt if that would be his wish. Because now,
Yeah.
if he draws like, okay, so he probably didn't have an Area of Flame in his hand. Because
Yeah.
now, if you hit Area with opt, it's really awkward because you give your opponent the hit for free. Okay, so he
Mm-hmm.
had another land, it was Stellaria West. I think he would prefer to transmute that for something, but well, it is what it is.
Yeah, he could also have his opening hand could have been like Island, Lotus Field, Opt, and a bunch of other spells.
Yeah. Okay, and
Oh,
now
now
we
we get
can
to look
see.
at it. Oh, interesting.
Okay, so so he has just wheel spinning spells, and I think he will play an island next turn and transmute Tolaria for field.
Yeah. That's what I would assume is going to happen too. The Mardu deck doing a great job of hand disruption.
Yeah, turn
It's
1,
just
turn 2,
taken two of his
and
spells.
probably turn 3 also will be some kind of hand disruption. So
Yeah, or a Ranger Captain would be really good. Basically anything from Joey's deck would be really strong.
true. Well, let's see. So we are swinging for 2, and
Notably, nothing from his deck would not be very strong, but we do have the Thoughtseize.
well, if his hand would be like, I don't know, 4 Death Shadows and a land, then maybe
Yeah.
we can like count on something. But okay,
Ooh.
so he drew Grape Shot, which
Yeah.
probably will be used as a means to get this Peer through Depths back.
Yeah.
Sooner or
Notably, he
later.
does have to play the Lotus Field to play the Grape Shot.
Yeah. Oh, and I okay.
So his Piku's hand is currently Lotus Field Grape Shot, which
Yeah.
is not the strongest hand.
It's yeah. That's a risky play.
The Shadow. Oh.
Yeah.
If Picu draws some way to untap like a Twiddle effect to untap the Lotus Field, he will get to kill the Shadow and the Sculler. But based on him not floating mana, yep, looks like he didn't get there.
So now, can Joey go down enough to get this Death Shadow outside of the Grape Shot reach? Yeah.
Can he lose any life at all?
Yeah, that was
Looks
the
like
question.
yes, this Death Shadow deck can lose life.
No,
The clock
that's
is pretty fast. I would guess Piku has probably 2 more turns. Ooh, this Ranger Captain.
Oh, that's rough.
Probably just sealing the game away.
He still could, if Joey will go for some kind of a greedy line. If Piku top decks Aria of Flame, the game turns on its head. Yeah,
I think if he had gone for a Hex Parasite and made the Shadow, I think Joey could have locked this game up if he tutored for a Hex Parasite.
Yeah.
And then just upkeep Zack Ranger Captain.
And then play.
Because if his opponent doesn't Aria this turn, he just gets to attack for lethal. Now he's not attacking for lethal, but it's a lot full.
Yeah, he's attacking for 8, and basically Piku counts on him drawing a basic land so that he cannot do anything. Like, not even deal himself damage, because like Shock Land is... Okay, so it wasn't a land, so we're swinging for 8, maximum 11, until it's like a Street Wraith. No, we went straight to damage.
Yeah.
Street Wraith would be nearly lethal.
Just a pass from Joey. It could be the Kaya's Guile, instant speed, or maybe a Cling.
It is Aria of Flame. That's a clutch.
The Aria of Flame. This is brutal.
And that was... Okay, maybe he doesn't have a land, but if he had a land, it's such a small but yet tragic mistake to not float red now and not kill the Tide Hollow Scarrer with Grape Shot. But okay, he didn't have another land from what I see.
Killing the Tide Hollow Sculler would probably just seal this game up.
Yeah, now we know he has Grape Shot and 2 raw cards that are not lands, I would assume, as he didn't play them.
Yeah, and he did scry 1 to the top, 1 to the bottom off that Serum Visions. So there's something good on top. Joey needs some help. Is he playing any Lightning Bolts?
From what I know...
Interestingly, not playing Lightning Bolt in this red Death Shadow deck. Actually, I don't know if the Grixis versions play it, but still.
The red is... I believe so, but I think they play it as a removal spell, and the choice of removal here is a Path to Exile, so...
Yeah.
As a stronger option. Slightly worse
okay.
reach.
This Unearth, I think, will seal the game.
It's getting Ranger and...
Yeah.
Ranger tutors for Well, for whatever, really.
Anything a 1-mana 1/1,
Yeah,
anything that's like not a Death Shadow, burning. Sure. I don't know why that's in. Oh, no, that doesn't actually stop Grape Shot. It does stop Aria though, so that makes
yeah,
sense. But if Joey just upkeep, sacks the Ranger Captain, I believe this game is over.
yeah. He writes upkeep, and I believe that will
Mhm.
be the end. I can't see a way that.
Okay.
Mm,
This was meant to
that's
be done in the upkeep, as he like stated.
yes, as he
Uh,
wrote.
yeah.
I
Picu not
guess.
untapping does not mean he doesn't get to untap, as much as your middle
Mm,
school friends would tell you.
let's see
Yeah, and I don't think
some
there's
magic.
anything Piku can do at all here.
Well,
At all here.
if he sided in Pongify's, Pongify before combat damage, a
Mhm.
Tight Hollow Scholar would work.
Yeah.
It's wishful thinking at this point, but I see no other lines for him. And yeah,
And
just
yep, that's
waiting
the game.
for confirmation that his opponent will actually attack him. And yeah, the game ends. That the unnerf was brutal.
Yeah. Ranger Captain really putting in work.
Yeah, and Joey was on 2 lands, so
Wait, I think he did draw a basic on that one turn where drawing basic was basically his only way to lose.
yeah, a swamp.
Um, yeah, that's pretty funny. So Joey's punt did in fact not lose him the game, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Sometimes you never get punished.
Yeah, the matchup is really favored into one direction. That we are talking about density combo deck against the deck with 16 hand disruption spells. It's
Yeah.
just meant to. Oh, and that's Piku hands. And yeah, next. Yeah, he didn't have an untapped land. That's really sad.
Yeah.
Okay, so thank you for commenting with me, and we'll see Joe
Yeah.
in the final and Piku in a game for
I
third
forgot what it's called,
place.
the bronze match. Yeah.
Yeah,
The playing for third. The thing that I did.
I see.
All right.
Okay,
See y'all later.
see you.
Bye.
Bye.